Welcome to the Illuminated Path podcast. I'm your host, Liv, founder of Eno Wellness Collective. My wellness journey started with yoga, which led me down the path of exploring healing modalities like meditation, breath work, sound healing, mindset work, and so much more. This exploration inspired my mission to help others find what lights them up. Get comfortable and curious as we learn from experts, teachers, and creators who are lighting up their communities and living an inspired, expansive life. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Illuminated Path podcast. And today we are recording in the beautiful Dusit Beach penthouse. It's so beautiful to be here and to have this ocean view for our interview today. And I'm excited to welcome Clarissa Torres to the show today. And I always love to have people on, especially that I've worked with personally and have been part of my own wellness journey. I think when I first moved home, I remember looking and asking around of like, I want to get a Reiki session done. Who can do that here? And all signs pointed to you. And then I saw you obviously for massage therapy, prenatal massages, which were just incredible. And I know that structural integration is something you've now added to your list of services. And so I'm excited to dive into that with you today. But I would love to have you take us back to start with hearing about your path to finding bodywork and where it came from for you, what sort of stemmed the interest to explore this as a career path.
So bodywork came to me while I was working part-time jobs. Every time I was switching a career or looking for a new job, massage would pop up. So like working at a spa and whatnot. But every time I would try, it wouldn't go through. And so when I was working 3 jobs at once, was tired and done with it, I decided to look up massage therapy schools. And I found the one that I went to, and I brought it up to my family. My son was 8 years old at the time. And I asked if I could go to school and focus on school and if he could be here with them. And they said yes, and then everything unfolded.
Okay. So did you go to school off island then?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was your program?
I went to Hawaii Healing Arts College in Kailua.
Okay, nice. Okay. I didn't even realize that. For some reason, I thought you had studied here. So you moved away to Hawaii, studied, and then came back. Did you initially decide I'm going to start my own, practice and get my own space? Or what was that journey like of like, now that I have the education, how do I now transition it into, into what it is now?
The intention when I went to school was to start my own business because I was just tired of working for the man.
Yeah.
So yes, the intention was there to start my business. But when I first got back, it was hard to, like I did initially start with my own little small business where I'm taking my table to different houses and whatnot, but it wasn't taking two. And so I worked at a couple of spas and then a local clinic in Agana. Then I went the traditional way and did some work with the Sarhanas and Sarhanus and came back to my practice after that, where I had met my mentor, which is what brought me back to having my own business again.
And how long have you been in the space that you're in now? Because I do love your space in Agana Heights. When I remember first going there and just walking into your room and feeling, God, okay, I can be here. It's so cozy and so welcoming. So how long has the version of your business been in that space?
Thank you. It's been since 2018.
Okay, so for a while now.
Yes.
Okay, so when you think about the sort of layering on the different practices that you have, and I see it with myself a lot in my own journey of like started with yoga, started adding in sound healing or different certifications in, and it has drastically changed the way that I show up for my clients and the services that I offer. But when you think about that layering on of like, okay, massage therapy and then into Reiki and then into structural integration, what has sort of been the spark for each of those three, and how do they sort of all fuse together now?
So for massage therapy and Reiki, they came together because I learned Reiki while I was in massage therapy school. It was like an additional class. Like if you want to learn it, then you can take it. And so it just came together, and the energy work with body work is always present. And then structural integration came also while I was in school. because one of my teachers was a rolfer, and I was very drawn to how wise he was with the body, and I was like, that's what I want.
Mhm.
And so, getting here after massage therapy school, the focus was on massage therapy first. I knew that my mentor, Patricia Pexo, was here, but it wasn't time for us to meet yet. I had tried, but she was off island. And when it was time, we finally met and structural integration came into play.
Mm. And I know that people are probably listening thinking, what is structural integration? I can guess maybe what it is. And that's why I was just telling you before we pressed play. I was like, I was gonna go down into the rabbit hole of structural integration. And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have Clarissa teach us about it today. So we're gonna dive into it today for sure. But could you give us just a high level, like what is structural integration?
Structural integration is a 10 series. Um, it's specific work where we help the different segments of the body to work better together so that your alignment and movement and gravity is more easeful and more flowing. So there's sessions 1 through 3, which are superficial, working the superficial parts of the body, clearing out things so that when you get to the meat of the work, which is 4 through 7, the deep core parts of the body, it's easier for things to clear out. And then sessions 8 through 10 are integration work. So, looking at the body as a whole and seeing what could be helped to help the body to move better and to be more integrated, and finally, like integrating movements so that the individual is more aware and present when they move.
Mm. Okay, so the 10 sessions and they when someone signs up for structural integration, it is 10 sessions, like the full it's not like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do 3 and then see how I feel." It comes really as like a full 10 session experience.
It does come as a full 10 sessions. However, if the person is not ready for the work, then they will fall off. I've had
Mhm,
that happen with a couple of clients,
mhm.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Ideally, if someone were to start this series and they wanted to feel it out, session 3 would be ideal to stop. They could even stop at session 7. However, it's ideal to complete the full
The full
series.
okay, so the people who are coming into your world for structural integration and I imagine on Guam, it's interesting too, right? Because 'Cause you're bringing something new here. There is, like there's that education piece of what is it? Why would I even go and seek this out? So what kind of people are coming to you, or what are they coming to you with that they are choosing in, structural integration as the path?
So I've had a yoga teacher, I've had a hairstylist,
Okay.
I've had a dancer, I have a paddler. I've even had someone who worked with financial what is it? She did research for finances and helped like find crime and whatnot. So there's been that, and I also work with a writer. So many types of people can try this, and I highly suggest anyone give it a try because it is helpful to the individual and their body, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Are they are the when you explain those different types of people, I
Mhm.
see some similarities with like just what they're doing for a living, right? Of
Yeah.
like being, movement, and you mentioned like how it helps with like your center of gravity and so on. So, do you notice that they're coming to you mainly with pain, or are they just is it yeah, I guess the main reason why they say I want to try this, is there something that's hurting in their body, or what would you say is like the main driver?
The main driver would be wanting to be more present in their body and being more efficient with their movements. Like my
Mhm.
paddlers and the dancer
Yeah.
found the work very effective, especially when it came to like working with their core and actually being more present in their core. They were
Mhm.
able to actualize their movements with more
Mhm.
ease. Um, and also people who are ready to shift and change. Like
Mhm.
I very much feel like this work, it helps you if you're wanting to open a new chapter, but you're kind of stuck. It helps clear the way physically, mentally, emotionally so that you can continue to move forward.
Oh, okay. So there's I was just gonna ask you, it was like along with physical shifts, like I'm sure there's some like energetic slash mindset shifts that happen in the process. So you said like stepping into a new chapter, being ready for something new, like just getting the body in harmony in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're also working with like men and women, do you see any differences or similarities or differences in the work, or even just like the type of person that seeks this work out?
Um, I want to say I've worked with two men so far. One couldn't finish the series, he wasn't ready yet, and
Hmm.
that's okay.
Hmm.
And the second is almost finished with his series. And so I feel like it's a level of maturity or like awareness
Okay.
um that helps bring the male or the female to this type of work. I will say that when I started receiving the work, I've received the work 4 times because of school and whatnot. Um, each time there was a layer of ignorance or like I wasn't awake yet. So it's like each time I had this series, like a layer of awakening happened for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
when you're ready, then you'll be there. And if you're not quite and you're still figuring things out, the series can be a little jolting in some ways, but it's worth
Mm.
it.
And, I know from my experience of deciding to teach certain things or deciding to learn certain things, I always have to have that experience first, right? Of like really experiencing a shift or experiencing how, I remember the first sound bath I ever had, or, the first yoga class I took, there was something in me that shifted, and then kind of integrating that over time to then want to teach it and want to share it.
Hmm.
So since you mentioned you went through it 4 times,
Hmm.
what would you say were the biggest changes that you saw just personally that made you think, I have to share this? I have to actually, move into the guide.
I want to say that the series helped me get through some dark times and really helped me to unfold into myself. Like there was a lot of layering and protection of myself, and that really helped clear that out.
Mhm.
And even up till now, I receive advanced work from my mentor. Up till now, I'm uncovering parts of myself that have been there and are deep, and it's helping me to go forward with what I've been afraid to to
Mm.
come to.
Yeah.
So I felt that it was important because this work is has been so grand for my life and even from um others who I've worked with. Like I've worked with one of my mullies and one of my close friends, and it's been so impactful for them as well.
Mhm.
So if it's impactful for me and 3 others, then why not share it with the world? Like I'm very sure there's people who are kind of stuck and like don't know how to shift. And sometimes finding that change happens within the body because our
Mm.
body holds so much. So
Mhm.
if you help the body to let go of something, then that helps the mind or the emotion to process.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's why.
And there's a lot of that work to be done here, not only here on Guam, but just in general, right? People are holding
Yeah.
a lot of trauma in their body, and they're holding a lot of, yeah, past memories. And so being able to work through the energetic as well as the physical and seeing like that shift
Yeah.
sounds powerful. But now it makes sense how you were saying, like, you have to be ready to
Yes.
s- even just the curiosity, right? To go deeper and to kind of explore like what the body's trying to tell you in certain ways.
Mhm.
Super interesting. So of the 10 sessions, would you say there's any one session that you notice consistently with clients that you're like, that's the one that like something shifts, or like
Mhm.
even maybe a favorite of yours of the 10?
Uh-huh. So the sessions that are most impactful are either 2
Mm-hmm.
or 4. 2 is at the very foundation, so we're working with the feet and the lower legs, and so that's very much root chakra at the
Mm-hmm.
base of the root chakra. And the fourth one is uncovering the root chakra because we're working the inner line of the leg. So it
Mm-hmm.
gets close to the root chakra, of course, covered and draped and whatnot. So either one of those sessions can be intense or
Mm.
have a lot of shift happen for the individual. So it depends on where the individual is on their journey. And my favorite session is always session 7.
Okay.
Session 7, we get into the neck and the head. So the basis of the work is we work from the feet all the way up into the head. And this means intraoral work as well as nasal work.
Mm,
And so intraoral work is always great because we don't recognize how much we're holding just within the jaw.
yeah.
And then the nasal work helps open up the sinuses, of course, to the breath. And they're both such powerful areas. Like when
Mhm.
I go into someone's mouth or someone's nose, there's so much energy there.
Oh, I bet.
So it's really great to see like how people are like, wow, I didn't realize how much I had there.
Yeah. Are you working with the chakras for the sessions, or what is there like you mentioned that you're kind of working
Mhm.
up through the body?
Yeah, I feel that each session does affect a root chakra
Yeah.
or a chakra because there's the root, there's the
Yeah.
sacral,
Mhm.
there's the solar plexus. It all pretty much lines up, and we're going up the
Mhm.
system,
Mhm.
so each one of them does get affected.
Yeah. And I find it interesting because a lot of different modalities, like some of them are like really ancient, right? They go way, way, way back. Other ones are kind of newer. What would you say structural integration? Like how long has it been around and
Mhm.
where does it kind of even come from?
Structural integration, I want to say it was around the 1920s. My history might be off a little bit, but it was definitely created by Dr. Ida Rolf,
Okay.
and she was a doctor with biology and chemistry as her thing. So it's fairly new.
Mm.
Um, I want to say only within the past couple of years has it become more prominent
Yeah.
with its work, and a lot of her students are still around, older age. So maybe like it's a generation's worth away from
Mm.
where we are.
And I saw that is it sometimes called Rolfing based off of the teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's structural integration and Rolfing. There's
Oh,
two
sorry.
different like boards you could
Yeah.
say. So there's one that it's specifically Rolfing. Rolfing Institute teaches structural integration, and then there's structural integration. So it
Yeah.
just depends on which school you go to.
Okay. Amazing. Ooh, so interesting. I definitely want to come to you for these sessions. It sounds like yeah, definitely an interesting way to approach the body and to kind of connect again the energetic piece. I am curious, the people that do come to you, do you notice that are there any sessions that are emotional, for example, where people are because you're holding the space for them. So I
Mhm.
imagine in massage therapy or even Reiki,
Mhm.
you're not really talking that much, right? But
Mhm.
for in something like structural integration, is there more conversation, or do you notice that there's, I guess, a level of like vulnerability that comes into it?
Yes, for sure. I have had one of my clients, the every session we had, there was an emotional breakthrough that happened.
Wow.
So it was intense, but it was also very good.
Yeah.
With this work, I do try and keep the client more present because
Yeah.
I'll have them doing movements and tuning in and checking. But sometimes people drift off, and that's okay. That for me, that's the body's way of saying this, not right
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
So yeah.
Okay. I love it. Okay. So I mentioned this, but before we press play too, but I think when I think of like certain either topics or even just parts of like health and wellness that are being talked about more these days, I think of the word fascia and I think of fascia in general. And I remember in my yoga teacher training, there was like a whole session or a whole like part of it where we talked about that. So I know that, that's part of your work or like working with the fascia. So I would love for you to share a little bit about, yeah, just about it and why it is important to know about.
Mhm. So fascia is interconnective tissue. Um, the old science says that it surrounds just the muscles, but in fact, it goes down to the cells.
Mm.
So when your fascia is tight or restricted, it pulls. The body likes to spread out the sprain or the strain. So if you have a restriction or an injury in your ankle, it will pull the rest of the body. Even if you have one here, it'll pull on the neck. So when you work with the fascia, it helps to unwind those tensions or adhesions. You can think of it like a stocking where like you bunch it here and it pulls.
Mhm.
When you let that unravel, then the rest of the fascial system can relax and be more aligned or be in better movement. And it's like when you have the chicken thigh and there's that white skin on it. It's like that. It surrounds everything, and the more water that you drink, the more hydrated you are, the better it moves and it sends information
Mm.
all over the place. So the less hydrated you are, the more stuck and less information can get around through the body. Um, so yeah, it's basically like the net that holds us, all of us together, literally down to the cells.
And are you I mean, I know you work with that with massage therapy, but with also with structural integration, are you working with the fascia too?
Yes, definitely. The difference with massage therapy and structural
Yeah.
integration is that structural integration, it's more slow, more intentional,
Yeah.
and really feeling for the fascia and working with it. Whereas massage therapy, you can hold that too,
Mhm.
but it depends on what the person wants. Like if they
Yeah.
want to relax, then that's okay. If they want to do more specific work, then I
Mhm.
tend to go for that fascial step.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
You mentioned you started doing your work in 2014 or 18? Was it 14?
which one? The structural?
Or just in general when you started your practice?
I started in 2014.
2014. Okay. So that's a while, right, of doing this and starting to add on these different modalities. And so just to switch gears a little bit, I do want to hear just a little bit about your journey as, in this work as a practitioner, depending
Mhm,
on how, what you like to call yourself, right? Whether it's a
mhm,
practitioner, a healer, a therapist, like whatever kind of name you associate your work with.
mhm.
What have you seen and what have you learned in this time of really, 2014 to now? Yeah, what have been some of your more like entrepreneurial healer
Uh-huh.
journey takeaways?
I think that when someone is ready,
Mhm.
then they will find you.
Mm.
And if they're not, and they're just kind of putting their feet in the water, it's okay. They'll come by and they'll come back when they're ready. I do feel like people are wanting more of getting to the root of the issue rather than to come back and keep working on the same issue and over again.
Mhm.
And I feel that it is causing an awakening of consciousness within individuals because, yeah, the more aware you are of your body and why it's holding something or why something is there, then you uncover deep, deep things.
Mhm. Yeah, so you're noticing just a more like people being more open to the work in general.
For sure.
And because you studied in Hawaii and then came back, came back, what do you notice about our community, right? What do you notice about people on Guam, what they're coming in for, and even just I know you said like mindset is shifting and there's like an awakening happening, but
Mhm.
yeah, what do you notice about doing and practicing this work here?
I noticed that there is a lot of trauma that's here. There's a lot of stagnant energy that's here. And I feel like the people who come and that I see are ready for some kind of shift and change with their life, a shift within themselves or just the broader perspective of their life. And I'd like to think that it's happening one person at a time.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. It's like little light bulbs that are coming off. Like people are starting to awaken in their own different ways at their own different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see and feel that too, although I've only been back on Guam for 6 years, or going
Mhm.
on 6 years, but I do see the shift, right? And I, try to meet people where they're at in the work that I do, and I'm sure it's very similar in your work as well. But I also know that, being in the line of supporting others, whether it's as a coach, as a healer, as a guide, whatever, the name is, you do have to also take care of yourself, right? And
Mhm.
be able to hold that space. So for you, I imagine like physically it's very tiring, to have appointments or to have, to be holding space and capacity for your
Mhm.
clients. So what do you do to support yourself? I know you mentioned you have a mentor, but like
Uh-huh.
what are some other things that you do to take care of yourself?
I have a strict schedule.
Good. Love it.
So, working days are working days.
Okay.
I have 3 off days, and 2 are specific for me to receive work or to catch up on things at home. I'm definitely creating more time to meditate and to journal and to be creative, which were part of my intentions for this year. So that has been my main hub because, like, when I create or when I receive body work, it really fills me up. Also,
Mhm.
being in nature, and really connecting to the land and the plants has been filling my cup up for me.
Yeah, I remember you had mentioned before that you do some trades with other massage therapists so that you all can receive each other's work, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a nice little community
Yes.
exchange.
I actually do trades also. I'm doing a trade with a somatic therapy
Okay.
person, and that has been very helpful.
Nice. Okay. So keep the off days,
Yes.
receive the work as well.
Hmm.
When you think about your next, evolution of your work, I know you're really in structural integration is like the goal right now, but are there other, topics or modalities or things that have been piquing your interest lately that you're like, I would love to go deeper into this and maybe add it into the mix?
Yes, actually. I'm getting into frequency medicine
Mhm.
under Solex.
Okay.
Um, so a friend of mine, Amber Word, she introduced me to it. She did like a beta group where we had 4 weeks of specific frequency work based off of like whatever I had going on. And I noticed that I had profound shifts in my energy levels and my vision as well as my gut health. So I did invest in it, and I'm actually figuring out how I'm going to do a beta program to slowly introduce it to my practice.
Wow, I
So
love it. You're already like, I already know what it is. I have the program. I'm investing, which is so cool because when I look at what you're doing and creating, you are bringing things to Guam that either are very new or don't exist at all,
yeah.
right? And that's part of why I, even started this podcast was to have conversations with and to also open people's minds to like what are all of these things that you can do and that you can try. Structural integration definitely being one of them. But, even talking about what you're doing next, I'm sure a lot of people are like, what is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? So
Hmm.
I'm excited for you to share that with the community. So as I definitely want to, have you share more about how people can work with you. But before that, as you look into 2026, I know we're just getting started here as we're recording, but when you think about your vision for the year, the intention for the year, like how you see structural integration evolve or growing on Guam, what
Hmm.
comes to mind?
I want to have a consistent amount of clients and
Yes.
eventually get to a point where I can offer a series as a gift to someone who could use it and it is in need of the work, but
Hmm.
maybe like financially not able to.
Yeah.
So the goal is to be in a good place with structural integration. I had set a goal where I work 2 days out of the week and then two for massage therapy. So that is here. And yeah, if I can get consistent enough where I can set aside like little amounts of money to have enough to pay for someone's series,
Hmm.
then that would be great. And that's what I would like to do and achieve.
Yeah, to pass it on, to continue the circle.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like a way to be supportive of our community. And I realize like it can be financially tough, and this series is not. It's a pretty penny. So if I can help give someone that gift of like this life-changing work, then
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Amazing. Okay, so people who are listening are probably thinking, if you're on Guam, where can you find you, obviously? But even if you're not on Guam, right, and you're listening and maybe are interested in learning more about this topic, are there people, books, teachers? Like, how can people go a step further into this type of work?
Mhm. Okay, so if you're off island, you
Hmm.
can look into IASI, IASI.
Okay.
They are one of the boards for the structural integration work. And usually when you go to the website, you can input where you are and find someone to work with you in that
Nice.
area that you are. For here on Guam, you can reach me via my cell phone, 483-2287, or you can reach out to my mentor, Patricia Pexa. And we're located in Agana Heights, but it's by appointment only. We have to schedule things so we can make sure we're not conflicting. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so we'll put all that information in the show notes for people to find it and to work with you. And I was so glad to be able to do this with you. It's nice to be able to sit down. Normally I come into your space and I'm like right into the service. So it's nice to get to hear more about the work that you're doing. I have some friends who have done structural integration with you already who
Mhm.
have nothing but amazing things to say. So I'm excited to experience it myself
Mhm.
and hopefully get some other people to explore it too. So
Yes.
thank you so much for being here and
Thank you for
we'll
having me.
see everyone on the next episode.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please rate and review, and don't forget to subscribe. Learn more at enowellnesscollective.com and connect with us on Instagram at enowellnesscollective.